My name is William James, and these are the confessions of a failed writer. So, long story short, I have been writing fiction in some form or another since I was a teenager. When I was 19, I had the opportunity to publish something that I wrote. It was a 172-page YA science fiction thing, basically Twilight with aliens. It is as bad as it sounds, and I've erased it off the internet. It was published via an offshoot, I should say, of like a small press version of an offshoot from one of the big three publishing houses. It sold poorly, which is an understatement, and they never optioned for a sequel. It's still out there in the wilderness. It doesn't have William James on it, thank God, but it exists, and kind of embarrassed by it, so that's the whole thing. What I've found is that I've had two other publishing things that have fallen through. I've had a lot of hopes and dreams dashed. I've had things just not happen, and it gets frustrating. It gets soul-destroying, and you can spend hours working on a manuscript after manuscript, and there are moments where I'm just like, why do I even try? I'm veering more towards indie, but that's a whole different video. So I just want to talk about my experiences. The publishing industry doesn't give a shit about writers. Never has done. It's simple. Unless you're going to make them a lot of money and you're J.K. Rowling, they don't care. It's an industry about money at the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have to eat. I have stacks upon stacks of rejection letters. And emails. I've actually printed off rejection emails. I keep them in a folder called rejection. They exist, and I don't know why I keep them. I just do, because why not? There's a lot of trying to find agents, and I've had agents in the past, and that's never gone very well either. I had one agent that desperately tried to get a book of mine published, and no editor was interested, no one picked it up. I stopped writing for a long time, and it is soul destroying. I have a folder of God knows how much, I think nearly 200 letters of rejection, spanning from about the ages of 18 to now. That's a long time, and it is soul destroying, and it's wearing, and sometimes I don't see the point. I love writing. I love the physical act of writing. I love sitting there, but there are some days where I just don't have the words. Everyone's like, oh, just write it down. It's easy. No. I love the physical act of writing. I love it, but some days my attention span just doesn't let me do it. What I've found is that it doesn't matter what you do and how you do it, you're going to face rejection, a lot of it, and people, it's just the nature of it. The amount of people with manuscripts on their hard drives or manuscripts they've printed off just there. I have them too. I have a lot of them. I'm glad that I didn't get published at 21. I'm glad that whole Twilight with aliens thing wasn't successful. But I remember thinking, oh, what's the point of being here? The fact that I've always just come close to something and never actually, the next step has never happened, and the fact that it's completely out of your hands, the fact that publishing is very slow, from my original Twilight with aliens being picked up to publishing, it got picked up when I was 19, it was published when I was 21. It was a year and a half of edits and work and more edits and rewrites and constant things, and then it was finally put out to no fanfare. Sometimes I don't know why I even bother, and the fact that I don't really have many people in my own life that I can talk about writing with, because the one person that's very special to me takes the attitude that they don't care until it's published. So I can't bounce off ideas, I can't sit there and talk shit out. I have two friends who, one of them's an indie published writer and the other one's a content creator who also writes, but he's never published, that are amazing and help me a lot. But there are some days where, as a creative person, you just feel completely and utterly soul destroyed by it. I've never had any luck with any creative endeavor that I've ever done. Be it a clothing line. Yes, that happened. Creative stuff, trying to sell my art, trying to be a photographer, trying to do all this stuff and just always coming close, but never quite that next step. You know, I don't want to be, 10 years from now, I'm going to be 42 years old. I don't want to be at this point when I'm that age. I don't want to feel like the failure at that age. I don't know what the next step is, and I wish there was an easy answer.